Welcome to the third segment of the Procurement Reset Roundtable. In this segment, we will discuss how technology plays an important role in catalyzing procurement transformations and impacting the sourcing needs of the customer-facing industry. So let's hear from David on how the technologies that are being seen as transformation catalysts for the procurement and strategic sourcing world from the consumer-facing industries are.
Sure.
So, David,
Thanks.
as progressive procurement and supply chain functions become more strategic to the boardroom imperatives, what are some of your beliefs on which can make technology and service providers more integrated into the collaborative vendor selection decision process?
Thank you, Christopher. And also like to thank you for including me in the panel, especially as a recent retiree from 27 years at Blue Yonder. So my wife thanks you too to give me something to do during the day. I just want to reinforce what's been said by Stephen and Purvi and Greg and Paul. Just what's happening in the industry and kind of what's happening with technology. Through Blue Yonder, we've actually had an active engagement with Albertson's and Purvi's team around AI. And I think a couple of things I just like to highlight from a technology perspective. One is we're just scratching the surface with AI. It's very nascent at the moment. And part of the challenge with AI is it's very data hungry. Not just quantities of data, the quality of the data. I think some of the investments that companies should be looking at is how do they take data that they've had for years and ensure that data is captured at the right point and that it's cleansed. Because there's a lot of bad data, lots of data, but not good data, not quality data. And bad data, garbage in, garbage out still applies today. It applied in the 80s. It applies even more so today with AI. But adding more capabilities to capture data, and not just traditional data like inventories and sales and lead times, but more attribute-based data that describe the product, that describe the supply chain, that's more qualitative as opposed to quantitative. And it's extremely important to drive the complex AI models that can be leveraged today to automate decisions that you couldn't do in the past. Another investment, and it was mentioned, Stephen mentioned it a little bit about visibility. It's no longer acceptable to place an order, capture an order date for raw material or a finished product, and take a lead time and expect that it's going to be delivered and received on time. Right? You need real-time visibility into what's happening at the ports. Where is a container? Where is a tractor? Where is a driver? Is a driver available? Where is inventory? Where are orders? So that real-time visibility. And attempts were made in the past to use RFID back in it was the 2003, early 2000. Walmart, the Department of Defense, were trying to pioneer and set a standard for using RFID, but it was unreliable, it was too expensive. Well, some of those barriers have been broken now, and I think there is technology that's available that's accurate, that's affordable, and that can drive the value from the cost that's required to invest in those technologies. So I think that's a key part of how we move forward to transform the procurement processes, because we can use better data, and go back to data. It's not just your data, but how do you also plug into services that provide predictive data? So weather services, what's happening with transportation times on the road? Where's traffic? Where's the disruption due to weather, whether it's a storm on the seas or it's snow on the road along certain lanes. So there's services out there providing good data that can be leveraged to drive AI models to get to more automated decisions. And then the third one is just investment in securing the data. There's been multiple incidences where there's been ransomware attacks. There's been leakage of valuable personal data. It's extremely important to secure that data. So those are just three of many, but I would say that digitization and capture of data, using AI for automation, and then ensuring that you have real-time visibility with secure data.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. It's quite heartening to know that not only direct sourcing, but also indirect sourcing is shaping up well with the influence of digital technologies, and what time is imminent that technology stacks become more core to the sourcing decisions. We have two phrases at HCL. We say there's the first disruption, which was the Amazon effect, where everybody thinks they can get everything in 2 days because they can do it on Amazon. And the second was the pandemic's effect on Amazon's ability to meet the 2 days. So those are the two things we talk about here. So let's bring back VJ. VJ, as a global service provider and system integrator for the larger pie as partners chosen by procurement and sourcing leaders worldwide, what are some of your beliefs that which can make IT organizations move closer to procurement business functions with ease into their decision-making processes?
Yeah, so first of all, I completely echo with what Paul and Greg talked about, that how people process and technology are going to be very key, in terms of as we move into a different kind of scenarios which unfolds around us. And I completely agree with David that it is how we there is tons of data which is available, and how we bring in meaningful insight out of that data. And second, providing transparency through the entire chain, that is going to be very key. So, like I said, technology, and we agree that technology has a bigger role to play in a smart procurement decision, but its implementation has become more and more complex. So the artificial engines, AI, not only need to learn from the past procurement decisions, but they should also be able to automatically take into consideration future needs, future trends, and AI adoption, for business is just not one step process. It's a continuous journey. And having the right organization as a partner makes this adoption journey much easier. And you need a partner who can bring in trust, transparency, and flexibility, because these kind of scenarios, like today we have, COVID, these are going to, such kind of scenarios will come up in near future also. So you need a technology partner which is more flexible and which can customize your requirement. Like other IT giants, we are heavily invested in adopting AI, for different parts of the business, and procurement being one of the most prominent candidates for AI adoption. We have developed a solution, as Chris was alluding to. It's called Smart Buy. It is developed to be customized for the procurement needs for different industry verticals and micro verticals. It's the solution has been simplifying the complexities of different procurement functions at scale, not only for Fortune 100 companies, but also for small and newborn businesses across the world. So that's my thought, Chris.
Thank you, Vijay. Quite interesting to know how digital technologies sit at the core of procurement and sourcing decisions. So next, I'd like to go to Greg. How have you seen various technologies such as cloud, CRM from your days at Salesforce and Oracle, plus the way technology played a key role in the consumer eyewear space, where a strong need for emphasis must have been on the right selection or the right capabilities of the right technology partner as these negotiable decision criteria come into play?
It's interesting. David spoke to it, but data quality is at the core of any opportunity around AI machine learning without good quality data. And I agree, garbage in, garbage out is what you get. But to really focus on quality and then to take it the next step further and drive actionable insights. So understanding the data and what it tells you, the story that it tells you, and then derive actionable insights from that data set, and then take it even a step further where you get to predictive or prescriptive outcomes and what the data is telling you based on other data sources is key. So really understanding data, how to cleanse the data, normalize the data, derive actionable insights, and then get to predictive, prescriptive outcomes, I think is where we need to focus from a procurement standpoint. Understanding the criticality of your technology and the role that it plays in helping to enable the right business outcomes, I think is key. I forget who touched on it, but it may have been Paul or David, apologies, but securing the data from a not only data integrity standpoint, but from a third party accessing inadvertently that data is key. At VSP, we dealt with personal health information, personal identifiable information, personal credit card information. So we had a focus on information security. And you think of Salesforce, the first cloud computing, in my mind, the first cloud computing company in the space. We had very stringent InfoSec, information security requirements. So again, data is at the core of how we move forward and how we normalize and cleanse that data to derive actionable insights, predictive, prescriptive outcomes, I think is going to be key to the procurement space. So it all starts with data in my mind.
Great, Greg. Thank you. Thank you, David, Vijay, and Greg for bringing welcoming insights on how technology providers can help us ease into the decision making for sourcing leaders worldwide.